What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to an emergency video. Taylor Adams to Sydney. Let's talk about it. So before we do jump straight in and start talking about Taylor Adams and stuff like that, I just want to say that I've been so busy at work this week with grand final and stuff. I took a couple of days off to recover, so I haven't been able to update with a lot of videos and stuff. In regards to the grand final, I've got a couple of ideas that I want to get out, especially one tomorrow about the grand final as well, and still working on my swooping around because I've lost the audio for that, and it's just audio recording off my phone, so it's horrible, but I'm going to try my best. That probably won't be out for a couple of weeks, unfortunately, while I try and fix that, because it's going to take a lot of manpower. But yeah, I'll get that done. A couple of videos in between, and now I've got the Copeland tonight as well, so there's going to be a video on that. Don't know if I'm going to do a vlog, maybe just, you know, Insta updates and stuff like that. But new haircut, just decided to shave off the whole thing. But we're still premiers. Now let's get into this Taylor Adams stuff. So the news broke today. Mitch Cleary, my boy, I love Mitch Cleary, said that Sydney are very keen on Taylor Adams. Tom Morris came out and said that Taylor Adams has toured the Sydney facilities. Now, this comes straight out of left field. Taylor Adams, vice captain of the club, a beloved member of not only the club, but the Magpie Army. We love Taylor Adams, how he goes about it. I've said numerous times that he is my favorite player, one of my favorite players. I had him on a couple of years ago as well, during COVID, I think. Was it COVID? Yeah, during then. I love Taylor Adams, right? And yeah, he's one of those guys that will pick you up by the scruff of your neck and just straight over the battle line, straight into the trenches, or whatever that analogy is. So I love everything about him. But been reports today that he is looking to move to Sydney. Now, a couple of things probably swayed him. Brodie Grundy is looking to move to Sydney. Him and Brodie were great mates at the Pies. I think they were together for like 9 years or something. So, you know, your best mate going up to Sydney, you probably have that lore there as well. He obviously missed the grand final, but that was with a hamstring. So that's not really his fault or the club's fault. It's not like that he got dropped for the grand final or anything like that. That is devastating, but I don't think that has anything to do with why he's leaving. I don't think he's bitter or anything like that. Hearing that Sydney are offering him a few more years than Collingwood are. He's 30 at the moment. He'll be 31 next year, and so he'll be 31 next year. His contract finishes end of next year, so I'm hearing Sydney have got a couple more years in front of him, so that's longevity in his career. He's getting a little bit older now, and more midfield minutes. Sydney are promising him more midfield minutes with Tom Mitchell, the acquisition of Tom Mitchell, Nick Dacos going through the middle, Josh Dacos sometimes, Scott Pendlebury still doing his thing. Taylor Adams' role has changed from inside mid guy to inside mid, half forward, sort of that sort of connection. And at the start of the year, there was that article that came out, and he said, you know, he was a bit iffy with the acquisition of Tom Mitchell and what that sort of meant, but he was happy to do anything for the club. And if that meant, you know, half forward or starting on the bench or whatever that may have been. And I thought he played one of his best seasons this year. He was elite in a couple of categories if you look on the AFL app, and he's done really well this year. Not his usual bullocking self in the middle, but that's all right because it's a change of role, and he worked really well with Tom Mitchell. When we needed him, he was in there. He was you know, setting up goals, going inside 50 and stuff like that. So that new role worked well for him, but he wants to play more midfield minutes, so who can really blame him? Look, it does come out of left field. If anyone was to leave this club, Finn, Josh, Reef, you know, all these guys, not Taylor Adams. I was blown away, flabbergasted, if you will, when I saw that Mitch tweeted Taylor Adams and Sydney could be on. Now, I can't give you my source, but it's a very, if you follow me on Twitter or X, it's a Heinz source, so it's a good source. The deal is 90% done. And I'm hearing that we're going to be getting a pick between 25 and 30 if it was to go. Mitch Cleary spoke to Collingwood today, and Collingwood saying that he's a required player, we don't want him to go, but I think reading between the lines is they're not going to stand in anyone's way. If he wants to go for more midfield minutes, same with like Finn, if Finn wanted to go, same with Reef, Josh, whoever else it might be. If they want to go seek more opportunity, they go. Just like we grabbed Tom Mitchell, just like we grabbed Nick Stay, Bobby Hill. They wanted more opportunity from our club, and we let them. Ollie Henry is another example of that as well. But this Taylor Adams thing is just really, really out of left field. But I like to, because of Fly and what he's been able to do with this club and his positivity and his sort of mantra and the way he thinks, I like to spin a negative into a positive. Now, what this means if Taylor Adams does leave, it means that we have a space opened up in our best 23, right? So Finlay McRae, who I had the pleasure of speaking to at the Collingwood after party, and that might be a story for another time, said he's going to be playing more in the midfield next season. So we can see him take Taylor Adams' spot. In that Essendon game, Finn came on for a half and had equal most tackles, I think 7 tackles in a half of footy or however long he was on for. And he wants to be that inside mid, put a bit more body on. And he was that natural successor anyway to Mitchell, to Taylor Adams. Nick Dacos wants to play more in the middle, so he gets a spot more in there. And what else it's good for is we've got 7, 8 or 9 players over the age of 30. We were a very old list to win the grand final this year, right? Taylor Adams 30, 31 next year. Now, we probably would have not gotten rid of him, but we probably would have maybe pushed him out at the end of next year, probably not offered him anything else. With soft tissue injuries, his hamstring, then his groin and all this sort of stuff. So we're starting to rejuvenate the list. We still want to keep competing, but we'll start to rejuvenate the list a little bit. So Taylor leaves, and then we get a nice little pick in 25, 30, maybe bundle it up with I think we got pick 18 at the moment, bundle it up with that for something higher, maybe in the 12 to 15 range. I really don't know much about the draft. That's not my expertise. But so there's a bit of a silver lining to Taylor Adams leaving, because we do have these guys that have been sitting in the midfield in the VFL playing AFL standard games in the VFL that haven't been getting a look in. Taylor Adams gone, they can jump in. I think what I'm most perplexed about is that the news came out of nowhere and he's leaving, especially that he's toured the Sydney Swans facilities, and I'm hearing that it's 90% done. So prepare yourselves that Taylor Adams is more than likely to leave the club. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Vice captain, and you know what else is a little bit weird? I haven't, as of today, I haven't seen Taylor Adams as the vice captain of the club post anything on his socials about Collingwood winning. Now, that doesn't sit very well with me. Vice captain of the club, beloved by the Magpie Army, beloved by the club. Maybe he's a bit, disappointed that he wasn't playing because of his hamstring. Maybe the club tested him, he's upset that the club tested him out too early on the Tuesday as opposed to waiting for the Thursday. Who knows? Like, this is not hearsay or anything. This is just me just thinking. But yeah, that he didn't post anything, to the best of my knowledge, that I haven't seen anything. Just doesn't really sit well with me, but I'll let you be the judge of that. In the meantime, what do you think is Taylor Adams' worth on the trade market? I dare say a late second round at 25 or 30 or so, or is that early third? I don't know what that is, but something like that. Don't give me a player, because it's not going to be a player and a pick for Taylor Adams. Do you want him to stay? Do you want him to go? Let me know your thoughts down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, Tay family, Tay friends, Tay pairs, and until next time, double shankers. I'll see you later.